Honestly, the logic of Indian media has always puzzled me. I often see contradictory news reports on their channels. On one hand, they claim their country's economy is growing impressively, while the US and China face significant downward pressure. On the other hand, they condemn the US for tightening H1B visas, which they say harms Indian talent. Then, they fabricate fake news claiming China introduced a K visa to counter the US H1B restrictions. Paki Sharma openly uses AI-generated fake images on her show to mislead viewers. I just want to ask Indians, what exactly are you trying to say? If China is facing massive economic challenges and the US economy is faring worse than India's, why don't your talented individuals stay in your country to build India into the world's top superpower instead of seeking visas to work abroad? After I criticized Paki Sharma for spreading fake news about China's K visa, First Post released another video claiming European countries are competing for Indian talent. Germany and the UK have joined the race. Indian employees in Germany earn an average monthly salary of €5,359, far exceeding the €3,945 earned by locals. The UK government is also actively reducing visa fees to attract more Indian talent. At the end of the program, the host stated that Indian talent would have more options and not rely solely on the US. All right, I'll accept your premise that the world is competing for Indian talent, and only the US is foolish enough to reject Indian talent by setting high barriers and forcing them to leave. So why are the countries you mentioned, like the UK and Germany, which are supposedly eager for Indian talent, performing economically far worse than the US? Are Americans foolish for not recognizing the brilliance of Indian talent, yet their country remains the world's leading superpower? Are the UK and Germany smarter for valuing Indian talent, even as they face severe immigration crises and dismal economic data? Why doesn't another global powerhouse, China, need your so-called great Indian talent, to the point that your media uses AI-generated images to falsely claim China is attracting them? Why don't the two most powerful nations on Earth respect your so-called sophisticated Indian talent? In fact, the technology competition between China and the US is, to some extent, a battle of Chinese talent in China versus Chinese talent in the US. How long will you keep boasting before reflecting on your own issues? Why is Trump targeting the H1B visa, where Indians hold 3/4 of the slots? Beyond humiliating Modi and pressuring India for economic concessions, what's the factual basis? The fact is, the US tech industry once had a commanding lead over China. But in just 20 years, due to the rapid Indianization of Silicon Valley, where Indian managers dominate and half of new job opportunities go to Indians, the result is clear. Chinese technology has rapidly caught up with and surpassed the US in many fields. The US's greatest advantage, high-end chips and AI, now relies entirely on Chinese talent. The CEOs of America's top 3 chip companies, NVIDIA, AMD, and Intel, are all ethnic Chinese. The US also depends on TSMC, a Taiwanese company supported by Chinese talent. The US gave Indian talent unparalleled honors, complete trust, and unrestricted opportunities, yet their technological dominance vanished in 20 years. What's more despairing for Americans is that in many tech fields, they may never catch up, even in another 20 years. China's lead in electric vehicles, renewable energy, rare earths, shipbuilding, engineering equipment, industrial machinery, robotics, and drones is now overwhelming. Before the Indianization of Silicon Valley, it dominated everything from software to hardware. Computers were made by American companies like IBM, HP, Dell, and Compaq. Operating systems were Microsoft's Windows, social platforms were MSN and Facebook, and phones were led by Western and Japanese Korean companies. After 20 years of Indianization, the world's largest PC company is China's Lenovo. Chinese phone companies like Huawei, Xiaomi, Oppo, and Vivo hold the largest market share. While the US has Apple and South Korea has Samsung, their market share has been overtaken by China. Huawei has developed an entire ecosystem from chip design to its Harmony OS operating system, and it continues to sell strongly in 2025. Chinese companies like TikTok and DeepSeek keep shocking the US. In the years following the tech war, the US not only failed to crush China's tech industry, but was repeatedly stunned by China's technological tsunami. You've brought the world's leading tech superpower to this point, yet you still boast about being the most exceptional talent, deserving the highest salaries. Doesn't that defy common sense? If you're truly so outstanding and India is the future superpower, as Modi claims, India has already replaced China as the world's manufacturing hub and will become a developed nation by 2047. Why not stay in India to enjoy the prosperous lifestyle and benefits of a future developed nation? Stay with your families and share in the honor of your nation's rise, instead of seeking work visas abroad. What's your logic? The US imposed a 50% tariff on India. President Trump publicly claimed India lost 5 to 7 fighter jets in the India-Pakistan air conflict. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent openly declared India is unimportant, and J.D. Vance has repeatedly expressed disdain for India. Faced with such a hegemonic nation, wouldn't the best response be for Indians to withdraw all their high-end talent from the U.S., letting Americans experience the collapse of losing Indian talent? Why not bring those highly paid Indian talents back to the great Bharat Empire, led by the most powerful ruling party, BJP, and the greatest leader, Modi, to build India into a nation that the US, China, and Europe envy and fear? Isn't that the most logical approach? If you actually do this, this channel will immediately stop all criticism of India and never mock Modi or the BJP again. My daily task will be to praise the emerging superpower on Earth. Jai Hind.